Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of a special month-long series celebrating National Entrepreneurship Month. My name is Parrish DuDell. I am an entrepreneur, speaker, and the author of Shark Tank Jumpstart Your Business and Shark Tank Secrets to Success, which are the official business books from ABC's hit show Shark Tank. Each week throughout November, I'll be going behind the pages to bring you exclusive interviews with some of Shark Tank's most successful entrepreneurs. For our debut episode, I'm so excited to welcome Tracey Noonan, who's the co-founder of Wicked Good Cupcakes. Now, Shark Tank fans might remember Tracey and her daughter Danielle from season 4, where they scored a royalty deal with Kevin O'Leary. Today, just 3.5 years later, Wicked Good Cupcakes has sold over $12 million in baked goods and become the largest shipper of cupcakes in the US. Tracey joins me today from their brand new 2,100 square foot facility in Cohasset, Massachusetts. Hey Tracey, thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So obviously there are a lot of people out there who are familiar with Wicked Good Cupcakes, but for those who aren't, will you just tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start the company?
Sure. So Wicked Good Cupcakes started really as a hobby with my daughter Danny and I 5 years ago. We just celebrated our 5th anniversary, and we basically wanted a way to spend time together. She had moved out, and so we took a cake decorating class once a week together. And we started posting what we were doing online. We used social, Facebook mostly, and people began to order from us. So it was really kind of an accident, actually. But it did grow to the point, we were working out of our home kitchen, it did grow to the point where we had to make that decision. Do we make this a business now, or do we keep it a hobby?
Well, how do you figure that out? Because I feel like I talk to so many entrepreneurs who have a hobby and they want to turn it into a business, but they're never quite sure when to really double down or go all in. How did you figure that out?
So I think for us, we had to look at the whole risk-reward thing and see, is it a risk worth taking? Was it something that was going to financially ruin us if we attempted to have this business and we failed? Or was it something that we could do with minimal risk and see if we could grow a business? And since we were only investing $30,000 that we borrowed from my husband, Scott, it seemed like a risk worth taking, and that kind of helped us make the decision.
Right. So part of why I think Wicked Good Cupcakes has seen so much success is that you have a really strong brand. I mean, anyone can try to bake a cupcake or open a bakery, but what makes Wicked Good so successful is really the brand you've been able to build. And part of that brand is the packaging, the jars that your cupcakes come in. That wasn't always the case. Can you tell me about how your brand has evolved over the years?
So my husband Scott had a startup business. He had an interactive agency in Boston. And so he built us a website. So that kind of got us some national attention and some inquiries from people across the country about shipping our product. And for us, we had ordered cupcakes online just to see how they were shipped and what people were doing. And we weren't really thrilled with the quality or the process. So basically, we just happened to see a show on canning, and we saw people using mason jars with food, and so that's kind of how the idea came about.
If I remember correctly, when you first started putting the cupcakes in a jar, you were really worried that it was going to diminish the quality of your product. I know you invested a lot of time and money and energy into making sure it was done the right way. Can you tell us a little bit about what that process was like?
Right, so what we did was we did some basic beta testing first. Baked cupcakes, assembled them in the jars, and sent them to friends and family across the country, because the biggest thing was seeing how these would arrive and if people got the whole concept. So that's how we started. And then we delved a little bit deeper. We worked with Cornell University with food scientists to see if this was actually a thing we could do safely. And then also worked with people in the state of Massachusetts as far as what we needed regulatory for labels, product information. So there was a lot of research and digging after the initial just shipping a cake in a jar to family and friends to see what they thought.
There's one story that I really love from your chapter and I hear about from readers all the time, and it's how at the beginning, when you first started producing these, the TSA actually confiscated these cupcake jars at the airport and deemed them a national security threat. Now, this could have been a pretty major setback, but you ended up turning it into a nice PR opportunity. Can you tell everyone how you did that?
It was something that could have either been good or bad. And for us, it was such a ridiculous notion that here are these two women baking cake at home, and it's now considered a national security risk. And when we saw the initial post on Boing Boing that was going viral, we called our local news station, our ABC affiliate, and asked them, hey, do you think this is a story? And they said, absolutely. So then we were able to run with it because other stations started to pick it up. It just all came together in a perfect storm. It happened on a Friday, so weekend news was slow, so a lot of news carried it, and then other people picked it up, and that was in December of 2011, and then in January of 2012, the TSA came back out, and because they had taken such heat for this, they came back out and said, this is not your average everyday cupcake. So it was really, it gave me the courage to then apply to Shark Tank.
And of course, you did apply to the 4th season and get chosen. And when you went in the tank, you got a deal with Kevin O'Leary, a royalty deal, which was very different than the original deal that you had planned. How did that happen? How did you go from a traditional equity deal to agreeing to take part in this royalty deal?
I remember finding out that we had a Lori week, and I remember thinking like, oh damn, Barbara's not going to be on, and because Barbara seemed at the time to be working with a lot of food entrepreneurs. So we went into the tank, we pitched, Kevin made us the offer, and it actually really caught me off guard. I know he was known for his offering royalty deals, and again, my bad, I just never thought he was going to make us an offer. We had to do some really quick math and see that actually the royalty deal, because we were on the positive side financially, we weren't in trouble, could actually work to our benefit. So he gave us the full $75,000, took no equity in the company. We paid him back $1 a jar till he was completely paid back. That was 6 weeks. And then we now give him 45 cents in perpetuity for each jar that we sell.
Right, so if you're watching this and eating a cupcake, you have just paid Kevin O'Leary 45 cents. I hope you feel good about that. I talked to Kevin about this deal last summer when I was writing the second book. And he said this is a very important deal, the way that he structured it, because it allows for you to keep the business a family-owned company, which is exactly what it is. You and your daughter started the business. Today, your husband, Scott, is the CEO of the company. You're doing what a lot of people want to do in running and really having a successful family business. But that's not easy. Can you tell me about the process of walking what I can imagine is a very blurred line between a business partner relationship and a family member relationship?
So that's a really great question, and a lot of people ask us that. And what's really important, every family member has to be autonomous. You all have your strengths that are different. I'm not a financial genius. I'm not a technology whiz. So those are Scott's strengths. That's what he works on. I work more on new product development and marketing, and then Danny does day-to-day operations and Faneuil Hall. So we all have our thing, if you will, that we work on, and it works really well because we can then go to the other person and say, hey, I need your help with this, or hey, what do you think of this idea? And we all respect each other's opinions.
And obviously together you've all built Wicked Good Cupcakes to be a really successful company. I'm also fascinated in your own personal story because, like so many entrepreneurs today, you really don't have a traditional business background. And yet over the course of your life, you've started all different kinds of companies. Tell me a little bit about how you discovered business and entrepreneurship and how your own unique, distinct path has influenced the life and the company that you have today.
To be an entrepreneur, I believe it's something that's inside of you, and it's something that you always sort of have this feeling that you're going to do something. And obviously my dad telling me that he wasn't going to pay for me to go to college was a huge blow to me. And him, again, being that old school, you're going to graduate high school, you're going to get a job, you're going to get married, you're going to have a family. That's sort of the path you're going to take. That was really difficult. And that little voice that was inside of me that always said, you're going to do something, you're going to make something big, you're going to make something out of your life. Not that having a family isn't doing that as well, but to satisfy myself personally, I think that voice was really what helped me and what pushed me through. And I also didn't limit myself. I figured I could try something, and again, going back to risk, if it wasn't going to hurt myself or my family, then it was a risk worth taking, because the reward may have been a better life for all of us.
And I think that's really maybe the theme of your professional success, of your body of work. You know, your career hasn't been linear in any way. One thing has led to the next thing, which has led to the next thing, and you've just been able to make it work. Now being a woman who has been in business for a long time and in many different businesses, how have you seen the professional landscape change for females in the last, 10, 15 years? Has it changed?
So I think I'm interesting in that I don't see myself as a woman going into a room full of other people, whether I have a meeting or I'm speaking or I'm networking. I kind of think of myself as my business, which may sound weird, I don't know. Do I think things have changed? Yes, absolutely. I've had the opportunity to meet amazing women like Kat Cole. She's the president of Focus Brands, brought Cinnabon, who we have a partnership with, up to be $1 billion a year industry. You meet with people like her and you realize, yes, women can do it. Yet on the other hand, you go on social media and you have people telling you, oh, leave the business to the boys, go back and stay in the kitchen. So there's this real feeling of, yes, women have moved forward, and then you sort of take a step back and say, but for a lot of people, they haven't. So I think as a woman, it's up to us to make that change, and up to us to believe that there has been change, and just not to trap our own selves in that whole gender gap.
Now, obviously, this is National Entrepreneurship Month. At the end of the month, we have a Small Business Saturday. And with the new year right around the corner, I think so many people are really revisiting some of the business ideas that they've had and trying to figure out what kind of company they want to start and if they're really ready to take the leap. So if you were talking to yourself X number of years ago and giving some advice that maybe you wish you had had before you started, what would it be? What's that one piece of advice that you want to give to people out there that are really excited about starting a company, but maybe are a little nervous about getting going and actually making it happen?
Absolutely. Don't grow too fast. So I'm the person in charge of product development, right? And I want to do a million new things. And Scott and I had the opportunity to go to North Carolina last week, and we were able to sort of talk about business in a non-business setting. And one of the interesting things that he brought up to me, and it's so true and it's such great advice, is work on your core competency first. Make yourself great at that core thing you do before you start to try to diversify in a million different directions. And for me, it was taking a step back and saying, okay, what is it that we do, and what is it that we do really well, and what is it that we can make even better before we start to branch off and do other things. So I think for us, it was getting our customer service house in order, making sure that we had incredible customer service agents, and we had a really a business that people could reach out to and know that there were names and faces assigned to it. We bake product, but we're really a gifting business. 90% of what is shipped from Wicked Good Cupcakes is going to someone as a gift. And that person, that customer of ours who is ordering our product as a gift is putting a ton of confidence in us. We have a huge responsibility to deliver the best product possible for our customer. And that we also had to rein in and really sit down and say, okay, people are putting their trust in us. They're spending their hard-earned money with our company. We need to give them the best product and the best service possible before we can, again, go off in a million different directions and try to grow this business in a way that we're aiming to.
Right. Well, the holiday season is just around the corner, and I know that is one of your busiest times of year. So why don't you tell us what you have in store? What's next? What's happening right now at Wicked Good Cupcakes? And what are you thinking about for the future as we go into the new year?
So, as Kat Cole taught me, not taking our brand a bridge too far where customers don't recognize us. Maybe birthday boxes, customer experience, occasion boxes where people can send us now. And in a birthday box, we will send out party hats, blowers, candles, things that will enable our customers who are far away from family or friends to send a birthday party in a box, things like that. My big want, and we are going to start talking about this and working on this year, is the franchising of Cupcake trucks. We've had a lot of people who have wanted to franchise our business, and we've been sort of hesitant to do so because we're very fearful of losing control. So a way for us to maintain that control is to supply the product to people who want to have that cupcake truck and book weddings, book events, go to areas where food trucks congregate, go to festivals, make stops at hospitals, universities, all those things that cupcake trucks are now used for because they're huge, and be able to sell our product with a product that we still produce. And we have a Shark Tank update coming up in November, which is really exciting, and hopefully just continuing to grow at a good clip like we are, and add customers to our base and continue to provide just a quality experience, not just a quality product.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations on all of your success. And for those who are watching that may want to try their own Wicked Good cupcakes or find out more about the product, you can do that at wickedgoodcupcakes.com. Of course, you can follow them on all of the social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, they're everywhere. Tracey, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here and share some of your insights and business tips. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Michael, so much, and best of luck to you. It was great to see you again.
And thanks to all of you for checking out the first episode of the Shark Tank Secrets to Success special month-long series celebrating National Entrepreneurship Month. To stay in the loop on future episodes, make sure to follow me on LinkedIn or visit MPDHQ, that's like my name, Michael Parrish DuDell headquarters, MPDHQ/Shark Tank. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week.